Viltrox 85mm f1.8 Mark II for Sony E-Mount, one of the most affordable and good portrait lenses for your Sony E-Mount cameras. Let's review this. What's good guys, my name is Oleg Nikitin, you're watching No Limits On channel, and this is the review of Viltrox 85mm f1.8 Mark II, and we'll compare it to my Zeiss 85mm Batis f1.8 with optical image stabilization. And the price difference is pretty substantial guys, so let's go. Let's start off with the size and weight comparison of the Viltrox 85 f1.8 and Zeiss Batis 85 f1.8 as well. This weighs 484 grams and Batis weighs 452 grams, which is almost identical, but the Viltrox is a little bit bigger and has bigger filter thread size, which is 72mm on the Viltrox versus 67mm on the Zeiss. Let's talk build quality of the Viltrox 85 f1.8. The build quality is okay, it's made out of plastic, but it's a pretty good plastic. Also here we have a metal bayonet or lens mount. Also here we have a little hole, like kind of connector to update your firmware of the lens. Also a little red logo which says DFRBW. I'm not sure what exactly is that. Also we have a little plastic rear cap which is kind of flimsy. Also the front cap with this mechanism which is also pretty flimsy in my opinion. And the flimsiest thing is the lens hood. Let me try to put it on. As you can see, it's kind of a little wobbly and really plasticky, but it's good that it has the lens hood in the kit, and also in the kit we have a little pouch made out of velvet, which is a good thing to have. So nice build quality for this price, I guess it's worth it. And also the aperture range of Viltrox 85 f1.8 starts from f1.8 and you can close the aperture up to f16. Now let's talk autofocus. The autofocus of Viltrox 85 f1.8 is good. You can see it right here in the example. It tracks my eye pretty good. It was set to the fastest setting in terms of sensitivity and the fastest AF speed. But comparing to the Batis lens, this AF motor is a little slow, especially in photo mode. But I can say that it's definitely more than okay for the price, and I'm pretty satisfied with the results of the autofocus, especially in video. I can almost see no difference between Batis and Viltrox in this comparison. In terms of manual focusing, this is the focus by wire motor, the same as in the Batis, but it has a pretty long focus throw. It's pretty linear and very precise, and feels like it has a longer focus throw than the Batis. So thumbs up for the manual focusing ring. Picture quality, sharpness, vignette and all that stuff, which is considered to be the image quality overall. So I've compared those two lenses, the Batis and the Viltrox, on different apertures in different conditions, the center sharpness, the corner sharpness, the vignette. And as you can see, the Viltrox is pretty sharp from f1.8 in the middle, but not that sharp in the corner of the image compared to the Batis lens. Also, you can see pretty strong vignettes in the Viltrox lens, but on f2.8 it kind of disappears. The Batis shows better performance in terms of corner sharpness, and it has no chromatic aberrations, where the Viltrox f1.8 85mm has a little bit of chromatic aberrations, especially in the corners of the shots. But for the price, I guess it's a pretty good performance by this little lens. Viltrox has 9-bladed aperture and the bokeh is pretty smooth and creamy, and comparing the bokeh to the Zeiss 85mm f1.8, I can say that the Batis, the Zeiss, has a little more creamy bokeh, and the circles themselves are less pronounced and kind of more creamy compared to the Viltrox, and the overall throw from in focus to out of focus is more delightful and nice in the Batis lens. But the Batis has more onion shape bokehs, whereas the Viltrox has almost all circles, which is good. I guess for the price and for the money, Viltrox shows great performance in terms of bokeh and autofocus, out of focus background. And now the focus breathing test. Focus breathing is when you change your focus and the picture kind of zooms in or out, and you can see the results right here. They're pretty obvious. And now about the flares. The Viltrox 85 f1.8 is a pretty flary lens, if I can say so. It has some pretty saturated colors in those flares, and the size of those flares is pretty big compared to the Batis, which handles it well because of the better coatings, I guess. So overall, the point goes to Batis in this comparison. But actually the flares are pretty nice looking. And now about the image stabilization. The Batis has the built-in optical image stabilization, which is good, but I was comparing those two lenses on my Sony a7S III in standard steady shot and in active steady shot modes, and actually you can see that the results are very close, and I don't really see a real advantage of the Batis lens, so that is why probably you won't have to pay extra for the built-in optical image stabilization on this lens, and you can buy something like Sony FE 85 f1.8 or this Viltrox for a lot less cash. The minimal focusing distance is 80 centimeters on both of those lenses. Definitely not a macro lenses, but you can get some pretty nice results in close focusing. And finally, the most interesting part, which is the price. So the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 Mark II for Sony E-Mount costs only $400, compared to the Batis, which costs $1,080 on B&H with the discount applied. And also we have an option of 85mm f1.8 FE Sony lens, which costs around $550, which is also a pretty good price. So to conclude, the Viltrox 85 f1.8 is a great choice, and it's not that pricey at all for the performance. If you close the aperture a little bit for like f2.8, it shows brilliant sharpness and almost no vignette. The bokeh is nice. The overall autofocus performance is also good, especially in video with the Sony a7S III, and I don't see any reason not to recommend the Viltrox lens for you guys that are using the Sony cameras and are a little tight on the budget. I do own the Batis and I do love this lens. I have a separate review, the full review on this lens right here, and yeah, it's just been my workhorse for many years. And I guess for many years to come it will be my workhorse, and I won't sell it because it's just working, and it's a beautiful lens. I bought it secondhand, by the way. And yeah, if you're new to the market for the portrait lens to make some portraiture and a little bit of telephoto work, this Viltrox Mark II 85mm is a no-brainer. What are your thoughts, guys, on this lens? Please share them in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy the content on my channel, please smash the like and subscribe buttons as I say in my videos, and also hit the notifications bell to get notified when I post my next video. This was Oleg Nikitin from Russia with Love, the No Limits On channel, and I see you guys in the next video. Take care, bye.